Wallace, this is 18th set of the season. Let's go. Conference play. Jake Reed starts off the serve. Going backwards, and down is Ocheva. How about it to start it off in the back row? He's flying high.
And that's big for the mental game of number 18. He hasn't hit to the percentage that we know he's used to this season. That's got to be good for the morale out the get-go for number 18.
Lucas Machado with a floating serve. McGilligan setting near side. Fabakovic with some steam, but free balled over. Quick set backwards. Another one free ball back to the Ramblers. Third time's the charm, maybe. And there it is, a kill for Parker Van Buren, a guy we'll call the name of a lot tonight.
Well, both impact players making an immediate impact. How about a kill both ways for Ndaviz Ocheva and the Cross Plains, Wisconsin native Parker Van Buren.
Machado setting backwards again for Ndaviz Ocheva. A couple of pinballs and freed over. On the net, the set, as it's blocked back down. Good play by Dean Meyer in the middle.
And Meyer will get all the credit for that, but going back to the defensive possession, McGilligan with a really nice free ball to keep things alive, keep the point going, and that's where Loyola is so good at extending those plays all the way until they can score.
Ramblers off to 2 points in a row, as the ball is off the block and out of bounds on the far side of the court, giving a tie game.
Yeah, you get the feeling, partner, that this could be indicative of how this is going to go. Back and forth early between two rivaled foes with fresh head coaches in John Hawks and Donan Cruz.
Up to serve, Patrick Rogers, a transfer from St. Francis, Brooklyn. Fabakovic into the block, tooled out of bounds. Ramblers go up again. That's exactly what we expected to start off conference play. Point for point, it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, tit for tat is how Parker Van Buren lines up behind that service. Stripe number 14, such a potent serve, Jordan.
Not as potent that time as it travels past the back line. That's a bit of the announcer's jinx.
Yeah, and that's what comes a little bit with the potency, though, in all honesty. Parker Van Buren, that'll be his 27th error on the season. He's a guy who likes to just sail it just over the tape of the net, and watching film, you can tell he's a guy who plays for the ace or the error behind the line. That time it's the latter.
A much softer serve from Rodney Wallace. Set to Fabakovic. Hit back over the net. With too much power, Ramblers take it back.
And Rictus invigorating all over the bench of Loyola, just grins affixed everywhere as we take another look at that powerful hammer. Daniel Fabakovic, the freshman from the Czech Republic, comes from a lineage of volleyball. Both of his parents played professionally in the Czech Republic. Get used to hearing that name early and often.
Going Ndaviz Ocheva, tries to roll it high, but had too much height.
And that's one where, as the season goes by, I think we'd be in agreement. Ndaviz Ocheva probably plays a bit better, but still the rust to wear off for number 18. Only his fourth start on the season.
Fabakovic returns to the service line. Pitlack with the serve receive. Going Ndaviz Ocheva again. He gets another kill. They've called his name a lot early.
And I love that up the middle from Lucas Machado. After the mistake from Ndaviz Ocheva, he calls his number one more time, and T-Time leaves no doubt on the second look. Just attacks the backline libero. Matt Oakley didn't stand a chance against that powerful kill.
And he's a player where you got to get going early. Sometimes in matches, he'll get a little frustrated with himself, but if he picks up some steam, and there's a steam on an ace for the Cardinals. It was from Braden Savitsky-Lynn, the freshman.
Yeah, he is just such a good talent. Coming from Roscoe, Illinois, finished first in all of Illinois with 474 kills as a senior in 2023. Does it all. Now you see him behind the stripe.
Talked about him in the pregame. Set a career record as a rookie in kills against Hawaii with 16. Him and a couple of the freshmen for Ball State we're gonna have our eyes on them tonight.
Yeah, that we will. These are two young teams, partner, between Loyola Chicago and Ball State. Lots of reliance on underclassmen. We'll see who could step up early in set one. That's only being decided by a point. Now it's evened up.
Another service error for the Ramblers. Gave a couple of freebies already. And now we got another powerful serve coming as John Hawk's watching this intense matchup with a stern face. He was locked in coming into this match. McElligott to the middle, a soft touch over. Ball State was ready. Rogers off the touch. Setting backwards, Van Buren, too hot to handle for Ndavizocheva.
I mean, I wish we had a radar gun in here. That thing just comes off with so much steam. You could hear the oomph here courtside on press row as we get another look at it. He climbs the ladder and leaves no doubt yet again. That's a termination and a big one for Van Buren, who leads the contest in kills.
And now it's the setter, Ryan McElligott from Mundelein, Illinois, the sophomore. Misses a serve.
Both teams looking to clean it up early from that service stripe. It's been a problem for either side. This is a Ball State team that's averaging 1.7 service aces a set to 2.4 errors. That's for Loyola Chicago, not much better. 1.5 service aces a set, 2.6 against.
That was the third service error for Loyola already in set one. A bump set finds Van Buren. Couple of touches. A set from Ndavizocheva. Rogers, he's got it.
Not every day you'll see Ndavizocheva putting up a set, but that speaks to the versatility of the outside hitter. And Ball State's leading killer to this point, Patrick Rogers, gets his 95th on the season. I like that from Ndavizocheva, a bit of a mix-up. And again, this Ball State team continuing to attack Matt Oakley in the bat line. We'll see if the redshirt junior libero can find some answers.
Setting far side, finds his way through the block. It's Jake Reed, he's got a powerful swing.
Yeah, that's a really nice answer from Reed, the son of Jeff Reed, who played volleyball at Cal Berkeley. Just so much lineage on this Loyola Chicago team.
Rogers, hard into the block, but tooled out of bounds. Actually, never mind. Oh yeah, Ball State point.
Back in fourth we go. Ball State up 9-8. It sends number 9 back there to serve. Lucas Machado, the freshman from Brazil, who spent his time in the pre-match today without shoes on, getting some grounding with the court.
Different type of technique. You see that from J.J. McCarthy as well, you know, in the national championship. Something that a lot of guys are trying to get into.
Yeah, just good to be in touch with the mental side of the game. But that was a physical, brute force type of kill up the gut of the defense. That's Meinhardt, the senior from Glen Ellen, Illinois, getting himself on the stat sheet as Ball State gets an answer right away. Patrick Rogers, 6'7". That wouldn't even qualify as a top 10 height on this Loyola Chicago team. You could just tell by looking out there, height a major advantage for the maroon and gold.
It sure is, but it's about heart as well, and Ball State, they've got it. Going to Van Buren, blocked down by Ndavizocheva.
It's about heart, it's also about hops, and Ndavizocheva nearly jumps his height there. My goodness, the 6'6" junior just springboarded off of the hardwood to solo block that one. It's his 7th block on the season.
Cardinals up by 2. Set finding Fabakovic back towards the Ramblers. Back to Fabakovic, back towards the Ramblers. Van Buren off the block, and Coach Cruz trying to get on the play, but that does not count. It's a Rambler point.
So we get another look at it.
Look at that shoulder shrug.
Coach Cruz gets a little bit of an elbow on it. Not something he wanted, however. He shrugs it off. Cruz, in his 3rd season here with Ball State, the all-time winningest NAIA head coach with an 80% win-to-loss ratio, has stepped up big time for the Cardinals, to say the least.
And make that a 4th service error for Loyola Chicago. Down by 2. That department has been a struggle early on.
And that's the difference maker, right? Without those 4 errors, Loyola's got the lead.
Ball State has 0, by the way, thus far. To the middle, block back down. Fabakovic, cross court, but out of bounds. Actually, they say it hit the line on the far side.
Yeah, you could see the immediate dismay on the face of Rodney Wallace. He watched it go out all the way. It was a nice set up from Meyer, to help that cross-court kill. And ultimately, it just lands inbounds, as you see there, and Wallace realizes he probably should have made a stab at it.
Machado backwards, Savitsky Lynn down the line.
That's a veteran play from a freshman. Look at him sneak up out of the back line into the front. I mean, I've been really impressed with what Savitsky Lynn has done this season. The 6'7" Illinois native just has so much prowess for only a 19-year-old.
And the opposite position for these Cardinals, an area where they wanted to focus on in the offseason, lost a couple of players and needed to really strengthen that spot in the lineup. As there's another kill for the Cardinals, they continue to roll.
And again, Savitsky Lynn, the one getting things going. He starts with the service, then has the first touch defensively. That's the fourth kill on the contest for Rogers. He taps the head of Savitsky Lynn. That was a nice assist from the middle blocker and opposite.
Cardinals the largest lead of the night at 3 points. McElligott near side to Jake Reed, snipes it in front of Cameron Gray.
That had me fooled here on the sideline. Always like when the middle blocker jumps, acts like he's gonna make contact. It ends up on the outside with a hammering finish from Jake Reed, number 7 in maroon and gold.
Machado, Savitsky Lynn again. They've called his name a couple of times the last couple of plays. That one gets right past him. A kill for the Ramblers.
Ryan McElligott able to help set that one up. Van Buren stays red hot, and the Ramblers all of a sudden turn a 3-point deficit into 1 behind the service of Dean Meyer back there, the junior from Franklin, Wisconsin.
And Davis Ocheva blocked back towards the Cardinals. Back row attack with Rogers. He's got it.
It's been that kind of season for Patrick Rogers. I don't know how that one escaped the block up front, but ultimately it's a point for Ball State. They win the race to 15.
Cardinals up 15-13 in set 1.
His service out of the break.
McElligott to the middle for Meinhardt. Back row tap just tipped over. Now Jake Reed into the block, back towards the Ramblers. Swing attempt for McElligott. No touch. Cardinal point.
It was an aggressive look from the center, McElligott. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's not afraid to go for a kill. Would have been his 20th on the season, but only the second touch, a little bit too aggressive from number 9. Have to imagine he'll rethink the look after that one. Helps Ball State extend the lead to 3.
He sets it to the middle for Meinhardt with a quick kill for the Ramblers.
Quick kill and a quick answer, not only from McElligott, but from the Ramblers. As you mentioned, it was a nice set to help Meinhardt bury the hatchet. He was one of 3 Ramblers to appear in every match a season ago was Meinhardt, and the senior continuing to make an impact here early into his 4th-year campaign.
An overpass on the serve. Finds a hardwood on the Cardinal side. Tapped down by Van Buren.
And watching Loyola's film throughout this week, that's one thing that I would argue the Ramblers do about as well as anyone in the country is the joust at the net. That's where the height comes into play, almost unstoppable when the Ramblers are able to get in those one-on-one situations at the tape.
And part of me was Meinhardt who had the kill in the last play, but a service error from McElligott.
That's his 24th on the season.
And the team's 5th.
It's starting to make a major impact. Loyola Chicago helping the Cardinals here to a 2-point lead in a pivotal first set.
Joust on the net, back towards the Ramblers, and back down on the Cardinal side.
Wow, I love that play up the middle. I thought it was going to be a joust as well, but instead of hitting it over the net, the Ramblers opt to tap it back in a one-handed set fashion. Not something you see all the time. That's just an awesome heads-up play from McElligott, one of the best setters in the conference.
Machado goes behind him, finds Savitsky Lynn.
He's got eyes in the back of the head. That Machado kid doesn't even have to look in the rearview mirror to find the attacker running up from the back line. Freshman to freshman connection there from Machado to Savitsky Lynn to help the Cardinals right back up to 2. Doing a good job of holding on to that gap thus far, partner, have been the Cardinals.
Gonna lose one on that gap with that point for the Ramblers. The gap now just 1. Meinhardt serve, finds the Cardinals. Savitsky Lynn, another kill for the star freshman.
Nice play from Savitsky Lynn. A guy who is coming off of a career night against Hawaii right here in Worthen Arena, where he picked up 16 kills, well on his way to another good outing. Number 19 now up to 3 terminations against the Ramblers in set number 1.
That actually his 4th, and he's hitting at a whopping 800 clip tonight.
Very efficient play for the Cardinals up front. However, the Ramblers have a bit of an answer there, as it's a back set to the outside, and Parker Van Buren does Parker Van Buren things. That's what we've grown to expect from number 14 throughout his career with the Ramblers.
Trying to expect some dominance from the service line as well. The Ramblers need it. A softer serve. Going in Davis Ocheva. Off the block. Cardinals get it. First to 20.
And Davis Ocheva had 2 touches on that defensive possession, the first and the third. Number 18, just so good at all 3 phases of the game. You could trust him with any sort of touch, and that's why Donan Cruz really likes to have him on the floor for as many points as possible.
It's Wallace serving for the Cardinals. Fabakovic hard into the block. A tool for Fabakovic.
Just too powerful for Savitsky Lind, who was left on an island, and that's a big task against the likes of Fabakovic, who goes right through that solo block on the outside, puts so much steam on it, it rolls through the defense, winds up out of play for a point in favor of the visitor.
Puts that one in play. An overpass. Jake Reed with the finish.
6'4", never looked better than right there on Jake Reed. I mean, I'm just so impressed by the athletes both of these sides have. Again, just a huge vertical from the starting outside hitter for the Ramblers. Heads up play to tie things up at 20 apiece. We've got good vision from the gym, Jordan.
Machado backwards. Savitsky Lind kept alive by the Cardinals, but it looks like they're going to call a lift, or a double, excuse me, on the Cardinals. That's a violation.
Yeah, that'll go against Lucas Pitlack. First time we've said his name this evening. Sent into the game from Cruz in favor over Cameron Gray. Just a mistake up front. It's tough in those bang-bang situations, but you have to imagine the senior would like to have that one back.
All of a sudden, the Ramblers with the lead. Ball State trying to take it back. And Davis Ocheva, his swing is brought up. Nice dig by him. And now Savitsky Lind. Another high play. The Ramblers refuse to give up. Quick set, and Davis Ocheva just a tap over the net. Attack from McElligott, blocks there, but out of bounds. We talked about it earlier. He loves to attack even as a setter, and he does it in a vital moment, forcing a Cardinal timeout.
Some great effort in fight from...
And takes set 1. Fabakovic serves it away for the Ramblers. Setting backwards, Savitsky Lind comes towards us. Count that as a kill. Again for Savitsky Lind.
And that's a huge play out of the break. Donan Cruz's timeout pays off as Ball State able to settle themselves down, and the perpetrator of the kill now goes back behind the service stripe where he's been good this season. Savitsky Lind with some serious leadership for a freshman. He's consistent back there.
Another back set, Van Buren, good dig. Cardinals trying to tie it up, but whistle blows early, and point goes to the Ramblers.
See the signal from the far side. That's another point in favor of the visitor. Now 2 points away from capturing the first set on the road. First set so pivotal, of course.
You see in the match for the first time tonight, Lucas Anderson, the freshman, got a good serve. Ball State able to connect on it, and Davis Ocheva gets a tool, a much needed one. Ball State hanging in there.
And there's that kill from the Cardinals. As of today, they lead the nation in both kills and assists. They pick up one of each there, as in Davis Ocheva takes the set perfectly from Machado, sends it through a double block, and finds Hardwood to bring it back within 1.
His serve, that first service error of the set for the Cardinals at a crucial time.
It's exactly what couldn't happen there for Ball State. The unforced error now has Loyola Chicago a point away from 1 points a set. It's a bit of regression at this point, but you have to imagine number 14 will wind up around that mark again. Just so much talent for the 6'9" redshirt junior.
Ramblers 1 point away But Ocheva has different plans. He slams it home.
And there's the ultra-talented outside hitter for the Cardinals. And Ocheva, one of the coolest players in terms of story and mindset at the Division I level of any sport. Able to climb up and bury it right past the beak of Charlie Cardinal on the hardwood.
Nathan Go in the game as a service specialist. To the middle, and that's it. One goes to the Ramblers as it's finished off. 25-23. Ramblers take set one.
Into that fifth set. This is a massive set. And it starts off with the freshman from Brazil, Lucas Machado.
Floating serve. McElligott hustles to get it. Reed cross court right at Gray. Send it to Rogers. Van Buren tips it up. Jake Reed over the block. Bump set from Gray to Rogers, who goes into the net.
Rare mistake from Patrick Rogers. Hitting .354 on the season. It was a nice bump set from Cameron Gray, but ultimately Rogers wanted to go cross court. You could see he had the right idea. There was an opening, but just couldn't get enough muster behind it there.
And now it's the setter McElligott serving for the Ramblers. A hard one. Pitlack with a great pass, but tapped over. Defense was ready. A roll. Bump set in a weird position for Machado. Tapped over, back towards the Cardinals, but under the net.
That set on the back end from the Cardinals really left little option for Wallace up the middle. Had to just try to pokey one over. It wound up under the tape, and the Ramblers picking up where they left off as McElligott looks to get a streak going from beyond the line.
Well, that's the way to start it for the Cardinals. They really have not been in system yet. Now they get a free point off another service error for Loyola Chicago. That's 5.
White and red have been unable to take advantage of those service errors to this point. Let's see if Patrick Rogers and co. can steady the ship.
Back row attack, Fabakovic, too hot to handle for Gray.
It's a tough ask of the back row libero. So much spin from left to right on that volleyball. It winds up 5 rows high on the far side of the stands after a really strong finish from Fabakovic.
With a strong serve, but Savitsky Lynn tips it into the block. A soft little touch, but it does it.
Again, just IQ on display from Savitsky Lynn. A guy who played volleyball and basketball in high school, shows off the bunny hops and the IQ. Instead of trying to blast it through a double block, just dribbles it down the body of Fabakovic. That's how the Cardinals pick up their second point.
On the net, and Ocheva tips it over, but he stepped over the middle line. So a free point to the Ramblers.
And immediately comforted in that huddle by Will Patterson. Ball State just looking to negate the self-inflicted wounds of their own early on in set number 2.
That'll help. Another service error. I sound like a broken record, but they just keep doing it.
See John Hawks not thrilled with that one. The head coach of Loyola Chicago was the assistant coach for UCLA with the Bruins from 2015 to 2022. Won the assistant coach of the year in 2022 as the Bruins led all of the nation in hitting percentage at a .374 clip.
A set from Ocheva, and Machado with the kill. It was the outside hitter setting to the center. You rarely see that.
Very unprecedented, but good work on the fly from the Cardinals to pick up on where the opening was. It was a floating middle blocker to force a triple block look for the Ramblers. Machado plays it perfectly, and with a play like that, but Ball State's gonna hold on to the point. Nothing definitive there, so Hawks will lose one of his 3 challenges. Loyola now down to 2 on the match. As Lucas Machado holds on to his scarce kill there, the setter now has 9 on the year.
So we are tied at 4. Savitsky Lynn serves it for the Cardinals. Going backwards to Van Buren. Back towards the Ramblers. Back to Van Buren. And a tool off the block.
Parker Van Buren does it again. He'll be back there to serve. Van Buren's a guy who a season ago had 10 or more kills in all but 5 matches. This series appeared in 8 and is yet to not eclipse the double digits. He just leaves his mark anytime he's on the floor. John Hawks had a chance to talk with him earlier in the week. It's a different team when Van Buren's out there. The 2 matches where he didn't play were the 2 this season where Loyola hit for the lowest percentage. He's also so efficient up front is Parker Van Buren.
A 7th service error for the Ramblers, shooting themselves in the foot, but still 1-1. Hard swing, Fabakovic out of bounds.
Lucas Machado gets a taste of his own medicine there on the outside. This time it goes off of his outstretched arms and out of play, as it was a hammering kill attempt into a solo block. Really tough to ask of the 6'6" setter to stand in the way of that one from Fabakovic.
Machado with the dump. The sneak attack for the Macho Man.
Love that up the middle. Just stabbing the heart of the Loyola Chicago defense. Even without Vanis Buchholz manning the middle, the Cardinals have done a good job of controlling the middle of this court here through 1 1/3 set.
Machado in the back row for Savitsky Lind. They caught the back line.
You could tell back there Fabakovic thought it was going to go long, but immediately could tell that that one was played perfectly from the freshman. Look at it lace through the defense into the gap and pick up a Cardinals lead. Now the number of kills for Savitsky Lind matches the score for the Cardinals here in set number 2. It's 7 apiece.
Back row attack, and Davis Ocheva. He can fly high.
That he can. Sometimes Shock's number 18 doesn't have a pair of wings with the way he's able to get off of the floor. That's his 6th kill now. As you see it again, that's just simply unstoppable. A huge ask of Dean Meyer to try to solo block something with that much power behind it.
Hitting .455 tonight. Very impressive for an outside hitter. Going to the other outside hitter, Rogers. On the net to Reed. Blocked back down by Ball State.
Ball State now starting to find their footing a bit. They're on a run of their own. The Cardinals, with their largest lead of the set, is up to 3. This one comes on the look on the far side. It's going to go down as an attacking error against Jake Reed.
Regardless, the Cardinals will take it. Patterson continues his reign at the service line. Off the tape. To the middle. Blocked back down. Back set. Off the touch. To Savitsky Lind. Another kill for Savitsky Lind. He's taken over.
Well, this is a Ball State team, Jordan, that had major question marks going into the season at the center position. Look at that play from Lucas Machado. It had everybody fooled and left an easy kill on the table, and for the chopping for Savitsky Lind.
Run.
The longest run of the contest for either side, behind the service of Will Patterson.
Back underway in a back set. Van Buren to Rogers, tips it off the block, on the net, kept alive. Far back set, Savitsky Lind, he keeps on going.
The court feel from these two freshmen is so unprecedented. I have to hammer that point home. This is not normal, what we are seeing from Machado and Savitsky Lind. Lucas Machado has Ball State leading the country in assists per set, and Savitsky Lind has helped his Cardinals team to leading the country in kills per set. 2 underclassmen stepping up and filling major shoes of major departures. This Ball State team now on a massive run.
Couple of new players stepped into the match for Loyola Chicago. Right after that, they pick up a kill. It was Miller Truby and Cole Schobel who will step in for the Ramblers.
Been waiting to see Miller Truby come into the contest. He's one of only 2 Ramblers who's played in all 10 matches this season. The Dallas, Texas native sets up in the front line.
Rodney Wallace, too much steam. Cardinals immediately asking for a touch, however.
At least for the meantime, it doesn't look like we'll see a challenge card from Coach Cruz. I have to say, regardless of what happened, I think that's the right call. As, hold on a minute, Tonin Cruz is going to have a conversation. No challenge, and The reason I think that that's a good play from Coach Cruz is it functions as a free timeout for a squad that struggled here early in set number 2.
A hard swing, tipped over. Far side to Reed, right down the line.
As that one wound up as a kill for Jake Reed, number 7, the freshman from Newport Beach, California, just struck it up the middle. And now the Ramblers right back within striking distance, the deficit down to 2 with Meyer back to serve.
Machado, back row, and Davis Ocheva, and he's been deadly back there.
Quickly, the 7th kill for Mr. T early on in this outing. Look at that torque. The right arm of number 18 swings all the way back and so forcefully forward in just a split second. And that's how all that power ends up zooming off of his arm into the back line. That's simply untouchable for the opposition.
New setter in the game, he goes backwards to Truby, also a new player. Machado, back row attack, and Davis Ocheva.
He's starting to feel himself, partner. Tanashi and Davis Ocheva, a guy who had 23 kills in his first game back this season. Still getting his footing here in Worthen. And now with extensive playing time, you're starting to see what the powerful swing of Davis Ocheva can do.
An attack error for Loyola Chicago. Ball State just continues to run. And there's another timeout for the Ramblers. That's their last of the set.
Efficient clip and pick up plenty of kills along the way.
It's a 5-point Ball State lead. Schobel, the new setter, to the middle quickly. Meinhardt picks up a kill.
Good work out of the break for the Ramblers. They'll send Miller Truby back to serve. Another guy who's just so potent back there. 13 aces to 14 errors on the season. Truby's serves typically just barely graze that top tape.
And there it is, the tape again. To the middle, Rodney Wallace, a player who stepped in for Vanis Buckholtz, and he has done a tremendous job.
Well, we entered tonight's match wondering, would it be Will McPhillips? Would it be Rodney Wallace? Wallace has left no question about his ability. Number 10, the transfer from Ball State's rival Lindenwood, able to go up the gut of the defense there and help the lead right back to 5.
Was only his first kill, but he's been efficient everywhere else. Schobel setting to Reed. Blocked back down, somehow knocked over. Good dig by Rogers. Davis Ocheva trying to get in the back corner, but too much mustard.
Nearly a perfect play to the back corner. It was a really good defensive recovery from Rogers to even keep the point alive after Ball State was going to watch it just hit the floor. But ultimately, Loyola does a good job of getting the serve back in their possession, especially with a guy like Jake Reed back there.
And the starting setter, McGilligan, steps back into the match, so Schobel takes a seat as the ball goes into the net for another service error.
Immediate frustration takes over the face of Jake Reed. It's his 19th error on the season to 16 aces. That's team leading. Now 9 total on the contest for the Ramblers. 1 away from the double digits. We are not through this second set from the nest.
It's Nathan Go who just stepped in. A service error for him.
Nathan Go, a guy who looks to fill the shoes of some of these outside hitters. Number 2, an underclassman. Saw some serious time against opponents that Ball State was able to give rest to guys like Davis Ocheva and Rogers and played well.
Patterson haven't called his name much tonight, but he got all 6-10 of that one.
Patterson coming off of a career game of his own, not up front in the killing perspective like we saw there, but Will Patterson had get this 9 blocks against Hawaii just a week ago.
That was a career high for the young freshman. Savitsky Lynn serve. Goes over the net to Van Buren. Trying to punch it was Rogers, but he could not do it.
Just an unmotivated touch there from Patterson. Rogers in the back line. You could tell he was frustrated, just kind of put a paw on it, didn't expect to make contact, but ultimately it caroms down into the floor, and that sends the impact player for the Ramblers, Parker Van Buren, back to serve once more.
First team All-MIVA last year, but another miss from the service line.
So as one impact player has an error from beyond the service line, Tashi and Davizocheva not looking to replicate that for the Cards. Entered today with a positive 8-5 ace to error ratio.
Hard swing from Favakovic, trying to get things going for the Ramblers.
It's a nice kill cross court. Just good vision to notice Cameron Gray was playing a little bit too deep into the defense. You notice him trying to go off of that front leg, scramble forward a bit. But Gray can't get to it, and the Ramblers pick up the point.
On the net, set to Patterson. A high one, nearly pancaked, but it hit the hardwood.
With the blockbuster, score, Ball State University.
Ball State back up by 5.
And he will serve.
And it's Will Patterson. A line drive serve gives the defense a couple of troubles, but a hard swing. And free balled over by Rogers. Back row attack, Favakovic, too much.
It's a great job of not giving up from the Cardinals. It was a tough first touch from Davizocheva defensively, led to a free ball over, and ultimately just forced Loyola to do something on the offensive end. It leads to an attacking error. Now a Cardinals team that's on an opposite streak of the Ramblers. 3 losses in a row for Ball State, 4 wins in a row for Loyola Chicago. Just 4 points away from evening up this match as all momentum swinging in favor of the hometown Cards.
The Cardinals are feeling it. Machado and Wallace combined on a huge block. That was just off the paws of Machado, though.
Solo block for Machado. It's his 2nd of the contest, 12th of the season. The guy who played in the Brazilian Super League before coming to Ball State, which is the top professional volleyball league in Brazil, continues to make a mark on every match he plays in.
Back set to Van Buren. Ball State's defense has been great tonight. Savitsky Linda hard swing up into the scoreboard and rolled over, but blocked back down. A swing from Machado goes out of bounds.
Machado thought that one was tipped. Line judge says otherwise. There will be no challenge, so the Ramblers looking to get themselves back into this one. It would start with a nice service stretch here from D. Meyer.
Just grazes over the net to Rogers. Blocked back down. That's the way to do it. It's a setter, McElligott.
McElligott, strong and sturdy up front. The setter does it all, and there it's a solo block one-on-one with Patrick Rogers. As it was 6'7" on 6'5", the rear time Ball State had a height advantage. Didn't affect McElligott, he was unfazed.
Rogers a couple of stabs at it, still can't go. Back row attack, off the touch.
I got it!
Back set to Van Buren, a tool for Parker Van Buren, and 3 points in a row for the Ramblers.
The 11th kill on the outing for Parker Van Buren. This one finds a gap in the block. It was Rodney Wallace a little slow to get over from the middle, and it leaves an upright that is perfectly shot through by Van Buren before the volleyball wound up hitting the floor.
Ball State called its first timeout of set number 2. 21-17 our score. Ramblers trying to run and get back into it. They got 4 in a row.
That they do, and Jordan, what immediately comes to mind here is the streaks that both sides have displayed in set number 2, and that really has stemmed from consistency beyond the service line. Loyola now doing a good job of minimizing the errors. It's helped them to claw their way back tooth and nail into this second set. They try to squeak one out. You see the statistics. Ball State doing a slightly better job in the efficiency category, but both teams struggling to hit for efficiency here in the second set. Ball State has 2 more errors up front, but Loyola Chicago has been the story tonight. 9 total service errors, 5 have come in set number 2.
That's never going to do it, and they've showed a lot more in set 2 than they have in set 1. Ramblers lead 1-0. The Cardinals trying to rally back after this timeout and finish off set number 2.
And serving the middle attacker, Nick Meyer.
It's still Dean Meyer to serve for the Ramblers. He's got 1 ace this season. Won't get one there. Savitsky Lind, he's back.
Great timeout call from Donan Cruz. Great capitalization from Braden Savitsky Lind. It's a well-oiled machine for the Cardinals here in this second set, who look to keep the all-gas, no-break mentality employed here with 3 points to a set 2 win.
On the net, an attack from McGilligan, but blocked back by the Cardinals. Patrick Rogers.
2 outstretched hands, both used and both big for number 20. But hold on a moment. There were different signals from both sides after a bit of a debacle. The point will go in favor of the Cardinals. The near side judge had the final say.
To the far side, through the block. Gray cannot handle it. It's a kill for Jack Yentz.
Cameron Gray unable to find his footing. He'll be replaced by Lucas Pitlack. It's been a tough outing. He's been attacked when he's in there, but the freshman playing a completely new position here at Ball State. He was actually an outside hitter in high school who hit for a .531 clip. That was top 5 in the state of Ohio.
Back row attack, and Davidocheva with no touch.
And that's where you've got to straddle and walk the line if you're Tanashi and Davidocheva. He's still getting himself into the mix here this season. But no need to put that much power behind that one. That's how it winds up out on the near side and has the setter McGilligan back to serve.
Good pass from Pitlack, faking to the middle, but played nicely by the Ramblers. Off the net, but off the block. And another point for the Ramblers. That's 3 in a row.
Rattled off of Savitsky Lind and out here near press row. Don't bat an eye just yet. Loyola going to force a second timeout from the pocket of the red and white.
Cardinals only 2 points away from winning this second set, but trying to get things settled as Van Buren got to keep setting the ball because he's always doing great things.
He's got 12 kills and 5 digs, does Van Buren. Those both lead the match. Just so good across the board are the 2-star outside hitters in Davidocheva and Parker Van Buren. Both have picked up 5 digs today, doing their part in the back line when out of their preferred rotation.
The story of really the match, especially for the Ramblers, has been the service errors. It's killed them in this set. They have 10 overall, and it's a huge part of the reason why they're down.
That it is. Had a nice streak going into this break. Loyola will look to channel some of that same success behind the likes of Parker Van Buren. Things have become slightly more effective and efficient for the visitors here deep into set number 2. Just continue to claw their way back into it. 3 points is what separates the hometown Cardinals and the visiting Ramblers.
Ramblers with 5 service errors just in set 2, trying to avoid one after the timeout. It makes it over, back in play. To Savitsky Lind, who else?
Hold on just a moment. That one made contact with the antenna. So point goes in favor of the Ramblers. As we get a second look at it, yeah, that one rattles the candy cane. Gives the point to Loyola on what was otherwise a good look. He had himself a chance to attack the back line, but couldn't take advantage.
Make that 6 service errors for the Ramblers. And it's set point for the Cardinals, 24-21.
6 errors from beyond the service line in the set, 10 on the match. Loyola looking to sturdy themselves here as they've helped Ball State into a position to even things in the match.
Hard serve from Rogers, but with too much.
Wow, that was a hole-in-the-wall type move. I forgot we were playing volleyball instead of dodgeball for a second there. Matt Oakley does a great job to swiftly move out of the way, put the IQ on display, and watch the ball sail out of play. Great heads-up play from number 12 to keep this one alive.
Cardinals trying to finish off set 1 to Savitsky Lind. Ramblers stay alive. Back set, Van Buren, cross court, he's got it.
Loyola team just keeps fighting. A point away from forcing extra points here in the second set. And who else but Parker Van Buren to help lead the way. Great job to find the hole into the defense for number 14.
Machado to Ndavizocheva. Kept alive. Back row attack. Another kill for the Ramblers. We're knotted up at 24.
Phenomenal effort from this Ramblers squad. This is a team that trailed heavily and mightily at points in this second set. No longer. We're deadlocked at 24 apiece.
Machado to Ndavizocheva. High off the block, out of bounds. A much needed point for Ball State.
And in times of need, you turn to your superstar, and Ndavizocheva delivers exactly what the doctor ordered for the Cardinals. We're able to get a point of breathing room here with Rodney Wallace, the man elected to do the service rights, the Maryland Heights, Missouri native, with the biggest serve of the contest to this point.
Back set to Van Buren, through the block. We play on. Ndavizocheva goes high, and out of bounds on the far side. The Cardinals tie it up at 1 set apiece.
Lucas Machado with the beautiful bump set, and Ndavizocheva buries the hatchet, and we are an MVP of Mundelein High School. Now at the next level, a sophomore who stands at 6'5", ready to get the third set underway.
We're tied at 1-1, and the first serve goes into the net. Just continuation of the story for Loyola Chicago. Too many service errors.
That's number 11 on the match. Ball State doing a better job of staying clean from beyond the line. We'll see if Machado can play to that. He can't.
Back-to-back service errors to start off set 3. Not the way you want to do it.
And it's always tough to get back into your groove after coming out of the longest break of the contest between sets 2 and 3. We'll see who could find their footing first.
Make that another one.
It's 3 in a row. See if that can be the lucky number here to stop and slow the bleeding. As both teams look to lock in the biggest set of the biggest match of the year for both squads to this point.
4 in a row. Back-to-back service errors.
It's a lot of back-to-backs.
Yes, it is. We're finally in play. Machado, far side, and Ndavizocheva. Good dig by Reed. Bump set on the net to Fabakovic. Block back towards the Ramblers. Back row attack, tipped over the block. Good diving play. A set from the middle blocker. Hard swing, looking for a touch. The Cardinals don't get it.
And that's the type of play that gets you back into the flow of the match for both sides. It was a long rally that ultimately will go in favor of the squad in possession of the service. The Ramblers wisely lay off of the Machado look and have a 1-point lead with the serve.
Machado quickly to the middle. Rodney Wallace right up the gut.
Or even back up. It's the second kill for Wallace. The middle blocker does a good job there to find the hole, see it, and immediately attack it. Watch this. So much speed on the kill try, no real blocking effort from the Ramblers, as the good set leads to a better kill.
On the net, back set, Van Buren tips over the block. Set for Savitsky Lind. Cross court, dug up. To Van Buren. Cross court with too much authority.
It's a rare attacking error from Parker Van Buren. As you mentioned, he wanted to go across the court. Number 14, so lethal in that regard, but this time just a little bit too much juice on it. And the ball spatters out of play.
Cardinals take the lead. McGilligan to Fabakovic. That one stays in.
Nearly unblockable. And Savitsky, Lind, and Rogers kind of just have to look at one another and shrug it off there. Fabakovic, such a powerful hitter, and out of position a bit was Patterson. Everyone out of sorts there. We're back knotted at 4s.
Van Buren takes him off the serve. He's had a couple of errors tonight. Right to the middle. Will Patterson with a kill.
The freshman from Loveland, Ohio, a native of a town that Muncie volleyball fans know oh so well. Of course, Marie Plint and Druplit, natives of the same area. Football and volleyball stars alike. Patterson looks to be the next Loveland, Ohio star. He's seen extensive minutes here as a freshman.
Savitsky Lind with the service error for the Cardinals. Didn't have much to start off this match, and they've came in a little bit of a bunch in set 3.
Both squads looking to stable things from beyond the service line. We'll see if Famakovic can find his footing.
Machado on the net, pushes it back for Rogers. Not necessarily in system, but it works.
A little off-schedule play there. Ends up attacking Parker Van Buren. And the outside hitter, who has 5 digs on the contest, couldn't corral that one. Just too much spin from Rogers as it winds up caroming off of the outstretched arms of Van Buren and out of play into the tunnel.
Jake Reed over the block. On the net, tapped over by Patterson. An attack from McGilligan. Cardinals ready for it. To Rogers, blocked back down, but out of bounds.
A point in favor of the white and red. This is the type of position where you see Tanashi and Davizocheva try to get a little bit more aggressive beyond the line. Don't be surprised if this one is an ace or an error.
McGilligan to the middle, blocked back, but out of bounds again.
Just barely cleared the tape from Davizocheva. Was a nice serve. It doesn't get help on the defensive end as the double block off the gut of Rogers and Patterson. Not enough to stop the attack. The Ramblers back within 1.
Machado backwards for Savitsky Lind. Forced to tip it over. To the middle, Dave Meyer right at Pitlack.
In his 4 years here, that's one you're used to seeing Pitlack have. He was in the right position, but it ultimately just bounces off of the heart of his chest. As a ball with plenty of steam behind it. Winds up tying them the match and the set.
Tipped over by Rogers, but back to the Cardinals immediately. Some work on the net. Won by Ball State.
Love it. Will Patterson uses his offhand to pokey it downwards. Why use all 3 touches when you could catch the opposition out of position with just 1? That's a high IQ play for a 6'10 freshman.
He steps up to the service line. Back row attack. Cardinals get the touch. On the net, tipped over. And a dump. Machado, far side. Patrick Rogers with the cross-court kill.
Loyola was a little sluggish to get back. Nearly had a 4th touch on their prior possession. Then after free balling it over, look at the back line there. Just a little bit out of position was Matt Oakley. A little slow to rotate as he was in on the play prior, and Ball State takes full advantage.
Jake Reed into the block and down on the Cardinal side.
It's a great answer for Reed. You see the kind of height he's able to get. Winds up going off of Machado's block into the antenna. Last touch by a Cardinal. It's a Ramblers point every time.
Machado hustles for the set. Back to Rogers and blocked back down.
Back in 4th we go. We're tied at 9s again. This is a Loyola Chicago team who's 1-3 on the road this season. Ball State 7-1 on their home court. But whenever these 2 teams play, you get the feeling the match is going to be tight from start to finish.
Nearly an overpass, but somehow gets the set off. On the net, Cardinals get it. Another one on the net. Not a great opportunity thus far this rally. And all it takes is a little bit of a play from Patrick Rogers. A funny one, but he gets it done.
That was a strange point all around. Joust after joust after joust. Typically it would play in favor of the Ramblers, but that one just barely last touched by Van Buren. Look, you see Dean Myers celebrating, thinking that was a point for the Ramblers, but with how close the joust was, the point goes in favor of the Cards on the last touch from Van Buren.
That one touched off the Ball State block, and so Ramblers tied up again.
Van Buren gets it right back. It's number 14. Able to bring it all the way home. Now both teams into the double digits, knotted at 10 apiece.
Jake Reed serves it, an ace for the Ramblers and Jake Reed.
That's one Luke Pitlack didn't have to dive for, as he had an awaiting Patrick Rogers in the back line. Miscue, however, shaken off from both sides. A high five now exchanged between 20 and 11 as the Ramblers have the 1-point lead.
Back row attacker and Davids Ocheva. He got on the line.
That is simply unstoppable from Davids Ocheva. So sneaky out of the back line is number 18. It's tea time in Worthen Arena as the potent and absolutely hammering kill comes down to tie us right back up.
A service ace for Patrick Rogers.
The first of the contest for either side. It'll speak for itself as Rogers now into the double digits. It's his 10th ace on the season. That's Cardinals leading.
He tries for it again. This one much softer. To the middle. Whistle blows early. Looks like someone might have been in the net.
And that's got Cameron Gray checking back out in favor of Lucas Pitlack. Ball State's been rotating their liberos in and out all match. It's been a consistent look for Loyola Chicago. They've had Matt Oakley out there in most spots, but no libero on the court here for the maroon and gold.
A high shot. It's going to be a weird angle, just free balled over. A good chance for the Cardinals to Wallace. Just could not time the jump.
Wallace got a little excited there. Skied it. And it looked like number 10 was expecting to see some block attempts. Ultimately, the try well too far. Both sides readjust now with the Ramblers right back on top.
Machado to Davids Ocheva, tooled out of bounds.
That's one of the more underrated parts of Davids Ocheva's game. Not only is he able to find the opposition's hardwood, but when you have that much power behind a kill try, oftentimes the block is going to wind up out of play on its own.
We have been going point for point in this set. What else could you ask for? An overpass, kicked up, but could not keep it alive.
Nearly a Sports Center top 10 effort there from the Ramblers. That one was played off of the foot and ankle area of Fabakovic. Look at that. The straddle move ultimately sends the ball a bit too far. Hard to guess the trajectory there as Van Buren unable to get to it.
You think maybe he played a little bit of soccer?
Sure looked like it there at the very least.
This time he gets the call, and Fabakovic tried to get the kill down, and he did.
So the winner of this point will win the race to 15. Service in favor of the Ramblers. It's Van Buren back there, who has his fair share of errors and aces on the year.
Makes this one over. Back row to Rogers. To Fabakovic, who tries to tip it over. Ball State can't get there. The Ramblers win the race to 15.
By a mere point, it's been that kind of match partner. Bales, he's showing exactly why he's so special as we now get to look at what he's done through 2.5 sets. It's been nothing but number 14 on the outside. Efficient, effective volleyball. Hammering it home into the back line, play after play after play. The ball just seems to find its way through Ball State block tries whenever Van Buren is about to swing and go for a kill. And that's where number 14 is so special, as whether it be off of the block or into the back line, Van Buren finds a way to pick up the point.
Again, 14 kills, match leading for Parker Van Buren. After the media timeout, this set has gone point for point and expected to remain that way, well, the rest of the way.
This set very reminiscent of the first. Set number 2 was nothing but the Cardinals until a late Ramblers run had things knotted at 24 before it ended at a 26-24 set 2 win. The first set, however, was back and forth as the Cardinals look to make it 8-1 at home this season, 36-5 since 2022. Worthen Arena, one of the toughest places to play on the road, not only in the MEVA, but all of NCAA Division I volleyball. And that stems further than just the men's team. The women's volleyball team won 11-1 at home this season and is 37-3 here in Worthen over their last 3 seasons.
It's the volleyball capital of the world. A service error to start things off for the Ramblers. Ties it up at 15.
Both teams have looked a bit sluggish out of breaks this evening. Works in favor of the Cardinals there. We'll see if they're able to come out hot with some service of their own.
Into the tape, somehow makes it over. Finding Fabakovic, tips it into the block. And right towards our booth. A kill for the Ramblers.
Yeah, that initial serve from Savitsky Lind had so much power that the topspin was able to work its way over the net, but the Ramblers find their answer defensively. It's a nice back set up front that leads to the daggering kill from Fabakovic.
With a second shot at it, another good serve. And Davidochev, a hard swing, dug up. Back set to Van Buren. He picks up a 15th kill.
And a big one at that. The Ramblers now up by 2 deep into this third set. And Van Buren goes to the outside. You can tell in Davidochev and co. We're trying to close out for a cross-court kill. But Van Buren continues to keep the opposition on his toes. That time just went down the line.
Machado to Davidochev, blocked back, but out of bounds. Oh no, they say it stayed in.
That's Jimmy Meinhardt's biggest play of the match to this point. He was involved in that double block. So we get a closer look at it. So much power from Davidochev. But it looks like actually able to get a left arm to it was Ryan McDelegate. So it will be a solo block for the setter after a nice closeout from Meinhardt. Forced a last-second move from Davidochev that has the Ramblers up by 3 off of the nice block. As we take a look at the set 3 statistics, Loyola Chicago out hitting the Cardinals. Both squads still struggling from beyond the service stripe. But what really jumps out to me is the blocks up front. Loyola has been using that height to their advantage in this set more than any other to this point.
And Ball State, a really good blocking team, but of course they're missing one of the best blockers in the nation, Evanis Buchholz, tonight. So trying to get that area figured out as we get ready to go. Again in set 3, 18-15, Rambler lead. For a while we've gone point for point. This is the first time this set where we've seen someone pull away.
That it is. The Cardinals will look to come out of their break with some fresh energy and legs underneath them, likely behind the man on your screen, Tanashi Davidochev, who leads Ball State today with 12 kills and 6 digs. And it's been exactly what was expected from the junior from Zimbabwe, who used to make his own balls out of plastic and metal cord. Out here in Muncie, Indiana, the talk of the town is Davidochev.
An error off the timeout. Well done by Coach Cruz and the Cardinals. How many is that now? 15. 15 service errors for Loyola Chicago.
And they start to add up, especially on the road in a hostile environment like the one at hand.
Van Buren gets the call. Off the block, it sticks in.
Unconventional, to say the least, up front. The volleyball gods on the side of the Cardinals there, as somehow that ball stays in on the back line. And it's off of the contorting motion of Will Patterson. My goodness, that one works in favor of the Cards. And look at Davidochev go. He strums the guitar.
One of the best celebrations we've seen in a while with Davidochev. Trying to get one more strum in on this serve, but the Ramblers able to get it. High shot, set to Savitsky Lind. Hustling is McGilligan. Back row attack by Van Buren, does not go.
Great heads-up play up front there. It'll go unnoticed, but Will Patterson did a really nice job to drop both of his arms and let that one sail over. That's just feel from the freshman. And you can tell he's played plenty of volleyball in his time. Look at that. Perfectly angling it over the net. The ball winds up sailing over the block. Out of play on the far side. It's another good head to out of conference play before officially settling into meet action.
McGilligan, as we're back under play, tip back. An attempt on the net. Cardinals push it towards the Ramblers. To Reed, cross court, sniped it in the back row.
Good vision to notice the cross-court opportunity, and then Davies-Ocheva unable to get over. It's a tough ask for an outside hitter in the back line, but how about Jake Reed? Able to see that despite the clear height discrepancy and tie this one up.
Rogers mistimed the jump, still got it over the net. As it's to Reed again. Cardinals keep it up. Patterson knocks it down. Couple of pinballs. Good defense by the Ramblers. To the middle. They can't get this one. Cardinal point.
The great defensive effort from Jake Reed, putting the body on the line, getting an arm to what looked to be a dead point, but ultimately Ball State able to capitalize right away on the offensive end. That's exactly what Donan Cruz was looking for, especially ahead of the marquee matchup coming up tomorrow. You don't want to overlook a conference foe. But one of the bigger games left on Ball State's schedule tomorrow is set for the docket just under 24 hours from now.
But first things first, trying to settle things tonight as the Ramblers tie it up at 20.
The second time in this match we've been knotted at 20s. Happened back in the first set before Loyola Chicago would pull away. The Ramblers looking to do just that again, as it was a nice kill again from Jake Reed, a Newport Beach, California kid, using that coastal moxie to get this thing tied up.
Patrick Rogers, was there a touch? They say there was.
That's one I'd like to have another look at. Loyola was immediately celebrating as if it was their point. So whoever the perpetrator was there on the touch, doing a nice acting job. Nevertheless, the line judge calls it in favor of the Cards, who have the 1-point lead with Machado back to serve.
Jake Reed into the block with authority, and he gets a kill.
Jake Reed really coming on here late into set number 3. He's now into the double digits in the kill category, and he's done it relatively quietly as that one went off the top of Patrick Rogers' head and out of play.
To the back row, and Davies-Ocheva off the take. That does it.
And into the match now for the first time, Will McPhillips does a really good job selling that he was going to go up for the kill try. Let's get another look at that. McPhillips makes an impact that won't show up on the stat sheet, but the jump had the backline of the Ramblers fooled, and number 16 helps the
conference matches. Once we get to a point like this, down the season into conference play, even though you lose, it teaches you so much as a team. And for the Cardinals, it's looked like it's helped them a lot.
And especially with a young team like this, right?
Exactly. Hard swing from Van Buren. And Davies-Ocheva had an opportunity, and he takes advantage of it.
Wow. Not your typical powerful look from Davies-Ocheva, but the ball rolls his direction. It's down the body of Dean Meyer onto the feathers of Charlie Cardinal at center court. And Ball State one step closer to potentially picking up a set 3 win.
And 2 steps up on the scoreboard. 23-21. Fabakovic. Ball State gets there. To Savitsky. Lind has to move inside. Back row attack for Reed. Too hot to handle for Rogers.
And I'll tell you what, I'm no John Hawks, head coach for the Ramblers, but the game plan moving forward has to be to get the ball to Jake Reed. This kid is on fire. That's now 6 consecutive successful attacking tries from Reed, who is hitting so efficiently and single-handedly keeping the Ramblers in this set.
Hitting .321 tonight. To the far side for Davies-Ocheva. Ramblers pick it up.
And that was star-on-star action. Van Buren gets the better of Davies-Ocheva there, using all of the 6'9" frame to pick up the block on the far end. Just barely grazed his outstretched left arm. It looked to be a desperation play, but ultimately works in favor of the maroon and gold, and it gets us right back tied at 23 apiece in a pivotal set.
Puts us right back at another timeout as well. This one taken by Coach Donan Cruz and the Cardinals.
As we remind ourselves why this match is so very important. Ball State looking to avoid their largest losing streak since 2019. Both teams looking to start off MEV action with the win. Both of these teams in the preseason MEVA poll ranked in the top 3. It was number 2 for Loyola, number 3 for the Cards. And with a win here this evening, the Ramblers can get back above the 500 mark. But again, much like the Cardinals, the record not going to tell the full story. Both of these teams have had very tough schedules to get the going started.
And I think the important thing from that as well is you're trying to set the tone for conference play here. So you win this match, you're confident going into the rest of your matches you got coming up in the about next month and a half.
You can say that again. It'll be an interesting look out of the break for the Cardinals. Lucas Pitlack and Will McPhillips in favor of the starters Cameron Gray and Rodney Wallace. So Donan Cruz mixing it up late into set number 3, sending a new look against a Ramblers team that trots out the same 6 that was there before the whistle.
And a non-starter serving for the Ramblers is Lucas Anderson. Machado back row for Rogers. Another point for Loyola Chicago as they reach set point.
It pays dividends. The 6'4" freshman comes in to serve. Ball State had a look offensively, but too much of a cluster. 4 guys in one spot would have left him in a tough look on the defensive end. It left Rogers in a spot where he felt he needed the kill and couldn't pick it up.
At a terrible time, another service error for the Ramblers. Had a shot to take set 3. Instead, they give it right back to the Cards.
That'll check Anderson out of the game in favor of Nico Demas-Meyer. As Ball State entrusting Will McPhillips, the graduate from Frankfort, Illinois, to do the service.
And it's a good one. To Fabakovic. Cardinals get the point. Savitsky Lind with the touch.
Rare misplay from Fabakovic. He entered the contest hitting over 250 on the season. However, that's clear as day in attacking error. It was a nice set from McElligott. But it winds up hitting the hardwood on the side, and you can see Cardinals fans happy with the ultimate result of that one. But the fur coat wearing man will have to take a seat, at least for the time being. We're no longer in match. Rather set point in favor of the Cards as we're deadlocked at 25s with no end in clear sight.
And a substitution as well. Parker Van Buren being subbed out. He's had a couple of service errors tonight. So they go to the reliable Miller Truby. 13 aces this season.
14 errors, however. It's a bold move from John Hawks. We'll see what the approach is here from the redshirt freshman.
Trying to put the pressure on, and it goes into the net.
Make it 15 service errors. That has Worthen Arena back on their feet and waving their arms. As fans cheer their Cards on to try to pick up a massive set number 3 win.
It's Savitsky Lind, makes it over. McElligott to Fabakovic, blocked up. Cardinals to try to take set 3 to the middle. Patterson, he stuck it. Cardinals up 2 sets to 1.
And listen to that eruption. The Cardinals put smiles on their fans' faces. They're up 2-1 in the match.
27-25, Cardinals take set 3.
18 All-Americans in terms of academics. This is a team that really harps the books. John Hawks, an all-MIVA coach, both in and out of the classroom, has his guys ready to fire here against a Cardinals team that struggled after 3rd set victories this season.
Well, Cardinals lead it 2 sets to 1. Have a chance to close it out in set 4. Machado starts things off. For Reed, off the block. To Rogers, kept alive. Tip back towards Ball State. A bump set from Gray. And back towards the Ramblers. Reed goes high, and it hits the back line.
And what a 180 from the start of set number 3. Last set started with 4 straight service errors. This one with arguably the best rally of the match. Back and forth we go. It's been the story all night long. This time it's in favor of the Ramblers. They pick up the first point and now send Ryan McElligott back to serve.
Going back row, and Davis Ocheva missed a bit too far.
The Cardinals now hitting 280 as a team on the contest. This one just laced a little bit too far and continued to glide through the air, and Davis Ocheva has so much power Misuse of it there as Loyola continues to lengthen the gap in terms of hitting percentage. They're hitting .364 this evening.
A tip from Savitsky Lynn gives the Cardinals their first point of set number 4.
Get another look at that one. McPhillips with another fake. It forces Dean Meyer to be a little slow to get over up the middle. It was a solo block try, and that's not going to work against Savitsky Lynn. The block winds up out of play, and the Cardinals get their first point of set 4.
Block back towards the Ramblers with a free ball. To the middle, McPhillips mistimes it. It's happened a couple of times tonight.
McPhillips mistimed it, but that also wasn't the set he was expecting from Lucas Machado. It was a rare miscue from number 9, who didn't get enough air under it. He immediately banged his chest twice, inferring that that one was on him. As McPhillips will reset defensively and help his Cardinals to a point.
That serve never had a shot. It was a rocket too far. McPhillips puts it in play. Van Buren right at Rogers. To the middle, Patterson. He gets a kill.
Beautiful set up the middle. Everyone on the floor, including myself, expected that one to go far to Ndavizocheva. Instead, it's just a quick tap up that allows a kill up the middle and gets us back tied at 3s with the man with possibly the best mullet in town, Will McPhillips, to serve again.
This one, not as great, but I do agree on the mullet point. He's got a great one.
However, the hairstyle unable to do much in terms of service. That one, another error, as both teams have struggled mightily serving this afternoon.
Patterson in the middle, knocks it over. Favakovic, a high swing, right to Rogers. Back row attack, Rogers. Good discipline by the Ramblers to let it go.
Great discipline. I was almost certain someone would hit that one on its way out, but instead, it's court vision on display from all 6. Watch this, it misses the block, and able to stay out of the way of it was Nicodemus Meyer. Or was he? As Donan Cruz gonna bring out the green card for the first time tonight.
Could have gone either way, but you stick with the call on the court. And I'd say that's the right call.
No conclusive evidence. The call on the floor stands, and the Ramblers have a 2-point lead with service.
Machado backwards for Savitsky Lynn. Been a little quiet as of recently. So Van Buren hit the back line.
Van Buren able to thread the needle. The Ramblers have now doubled up the cards here early in set number 4. This set has been the kryptonite of Cruz's Cardinals in his 3rd season. You saw the statistic earlier. Following a set 3 win, Ball State just a mere 1 in 3 this season in set 4.
A joust on the net, kept alive by the Ramblers. Back set, nice play by Rogers, tipped over by Ndavizocheva. Another good dig from Rogers. Backwards to Savitsky Lynn, but the block from Reinhardt.
Despite 2 good defensive looks from Rogers in the backside of things, the Ramblers still get the last laugh, as it's turning into quite the streak now for Loyola. This time it was the block from Jimmy Meinhardt that was able to those team. The only other was the winner back in 95 and 96, Dr. Don Shondell.
It was an early serve from Dean Meyer. Some chirping going on for the Cardinals. This time there's a whistle, and here we go. To the middle, Patterson, over the net. Ndavizocheva off the touch of Dean Meyer in the back row.
Great job up front from Ndavizocheva, Will Patterson, and co. As look, they gave Lucas Machado 3 different options to set the ball to. He opts to go all the way across the court to Ndavizocheva, and when all else fails, why not go to your superstar who's now racked up 15 kills on the outing?
To the middle, Meinhardt throws it down.
Quick recovery from the Ramblers out of that Ball State break. Ball State gonna need a run as they trail by 4. They've got time to find it, but that time on the way down, it was Jimmy Meinhardt doing a great job of controlling his body all the way through and slamming it home for a point.
To the middle again for Patterson. Block back towards the Cardinals. Machado with an attack. Free balled over. This time he'll set it to Ndavizocheva, tipping it over. Another one on the net. Ndavizocheva with a two-handed slam.
Lucas Machado had a heads-up play to hit it over on the second touch. Parker Van Buren had an even better defensive effort. It all led to this joust. And it's rare that Ndavizocheva won't be crowned victor in a situation like that. He beats out Ryan McElligott to the ball and picks up a Ball State point.
But on this serve, he misses it. A service error for Ball State. Puts the Ramblers up by 4. Fabrikovic into the net, does not go. Back-to-back service errors.
Will Patterson will look to break that mold. He's done a good job of limiting errors. However, it comes at the cost of aces. Patterson, 4 errors to 3 aces on the season. He's got a high knuckleball floating serve.
As we get to see it, an attack from McElligott. But the point goes to the Cardinals.
They'll say it didn't touch off any Ball State cards, so the setter McElligott, who stepped into an attacker role specifically tonight up front, unable to connect there. And now Ball State right back within 2.
Jake Reed, Ball State with a chance, off the net, and over. Reed swings, blocked back down, kept alive, but point goes to the Cardinals, a double called on the Rambler defense.
Lucas Machado, such a leader all over the place. Only as a freshman, you know, they call the setter the quarterback of the offense. He's got the towel as if he was a quarterback, and that time he was in on the triple block. Machado has done it all this evening and this season. A pleasant surprise for Donan Cruz's Cardinals.
To Reed, good play by Savitsky Lynn to keep this thing going. Hit over by McPhillips with the changeup.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was going to call it a knuckleball, a changeup, whatever analogy you want to use. McPhillips takes almost all of the heat off of that one. Loyola was expecting a hammer. Instead, they got a nail, and it's in the coffin for a Ball State point.
And it's 4 points in a row for the Cardinals. A 4-0 run ties it up at 9.
Savitsky Lind, a freshman, and so is Lucas Machado. It's a trio that's out on the court now, making a major impact for this Ball State squad.
And all 3 of them set career highs in the last match against Hawaii. And Ndavizocheva attacks from the back row, puts the Cardinals in front 10-9.
And that's the well-roundedness of this Ball State team. Yeah, they've got the youth, but they've also got veteran leadership with one of the best outside hitters in the nation, Tanashi Ndavizocheva, in his junior campaign. Able to find his footing and get the Cards their first lead since early in set 4.
Working it to the middle, a high ball, dug up by Savitsky Lind. Patrick Rogers high off the block. Reed with an opportunity. Stays in right in front of the referee.
Made the line judge's job easy there. Reed left no doubt on the cross-court finisher, as it was tomb time for number 7. Able to leave it right inside that corner for the point.
Hustling is Machado for the bump set to Rogers. Cross court, touches it in.
Patrick Rogers off of the nice bump set from Machado, rises up and finishes it. Rogers, a transfer from St. Francis, Brooklyn, a school where all athletics were disbanded due to a funding drop after COVID, has been yet another pleasant surprise in terms of the newcomers and fresh faces under this Donan Cruz third season team.
And we had yet another service error, this time on the side of the Cardinals. Their team 10th in this match. Going to Savitsky Lind, trying to find a hole, good dig. Reed off the block, good play by Machado to keep it alive. A bump set to Rogers, off the tool, not a bounce, but some confusion. But officially the point goes to the Cardinals.
And after toppling over one another to start the set, Pitlack and Machado both recovered defensively. It was a nice look up front. Ball State knew immediately that they had corralled that point. And now Pitlack and co. will set up defensively.
And giving one right back is Patrick Rogers, who gets a service error.
Well, we never quite see the defensive look there from the Cards. Rogers unable to sky that one over. Didn't even make contact with the top tape. It was just too low of a throw from Rogers, who you could see immediately wanted it back.
On the far side, trying to keep it alive, but cannot do it. It was Oakley diving, but instead the kill goes to the Cardinals.
Good effort from Oakley, but that's a near irreturnable kill. That one sent into no man's land on the outside. And no doubt left as the Cardinals right back up one. We're back and forth again.
McPhillips serves, gets in bounds. And Van Buren high off the block. Haven't called his name in a while. Maybe try to get him involved more as this match rolls along.
Yet it's still the 17th kill of the outing for Parker Van Buren. No fear there. Working through the block of Indavazocheva, was able to force the hands backwards with how much power that one exuded.
Patterson hard through the middle, but good play to keep it up. Van Buren cross court right at Machado. Savitsky Lind gets it back. A set from the middle blocker, Dean Meyer. Block back towards the Ramblers. A joust at the net. Good dig by Machado. To Savitsky Lind. Off the touch. Cardinals win a tough point.
Ring all of the bells on that one. Tanashi Indavazocheva picks up an improbable assist. Is he an outside hitter or a setter? My goodness. With a nice schedule coming forward, that's the Tanashi Indavazocheva we know, and that the Cardinals will look to have down the stretch here into early February. That set was remarkable from number 18 to set up that point.
Well, number 14 for the Ramblers, call his name. Van Buren gets another kill as we're tied up at 14-14.
An immediate answer from Loyola Chicago, who looks forward to, as we mentioned, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Ohio State, and ranked Lewis before the rematch against Ball State on the 17th. They're firmly into MEV action. Those are all MEV opponents on your screen.
Hustling is Machado. To Indavazocheva, back to the Cardinals. Set from Rogers. Blocked back down with authority. It's the setter, McGilligan.
Just not enough on that set from Rogers. It made it really tough for Savitsky Lind, who had to just try to kill from the back line. Look how far he is from the net on that kill try, right into a good read. Triple team from the Ramblers. That's a low percentage play for the Cardinals. It works in favor of the opposition. They've got a lead right back.
Back row attack to Rogers, snipes it down.
And there's the recovery. Rogers able to sneak up from the back line. Good communication between himself and Machado as the two underclassmen connect on a big point that finds the hardwood despite the best efforts of a diving Matt Oakley. Rogers now up to 13 kills on the outing.
McGilligan, far side, kept alive, but no longer. It was a good attempt, but not enough. Credit the kill to Fablikovic as he steps up to serve.
Your knee pads are still too big.
Machado finding Rogers, tipping it over the block. Ramblers are ready for it. Back to the Cardinals and back to Rogers. Good play by Oakley as now it's free balled over. Machado to the middle, Patterson, too much heat.
How about that never say die look from the Ramblers? A point that looked to be dead was somehow kept up by Oakley and company defensively, and they just forced the hand of the Cardinals. Sometimes a free ball is better than trying to force something. Instead, they forced the Cardinals to show their hand, and Ball State was unable to pick up a point. It was an error offensively, but now an error behind the line for the Ramblers.
That's the 20th service error of the match for Loyola Chicago.
I mean, that's 23 points given up to a home team. That's just not a recipe for winning.
McGilligan goes to Reed, cross court, nobody home.
But when you have outside hitters like Jake Reed, it keeps the match alive. Loyola Chicago, despite reaching 20 total service errors, firmly not only in this set, but this match. They're up by 2 in the set, trailing by 1 in the match. Looking to fourth or fifth.
Rogers off the tool, nearly hit us. That one had some heat. And the Cardinals back within 1.
I saw my life flash before my eyes there as that one came towards us. I can attest to the fact that that spinner had plenty of salami behind it. And the butcher shop gets the Cardinals the point off of the attempted kill.
That one had too much salami behind it. Drifts past the back line. Did I use that correctly?
I would say so.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Ball State, however, unappreciative of the service errors of their own. That's their 12th now, so 32 total compiled between these two teams, make it 33.
Just continuing to shoot themselves in the foot, especially on the Loyola Chicago side. Coach Hawks harped on it before entering into this set, and granted, they've done better in this set, but still, has not been great.
Well, if there's someone you want back there to break the trance, it is Patrick Rogers, the leading ace man for the Cards, sends over.
To the middle for Meyer. Cardinals wisely let that one go. Tied at 19, and Loyola takes a timeout.
You hate to beat a dead horse, but back in fourth we go once more. On your screen, Ball State Sports Link's very own will have the coverage of the match versus Penn State tomorrow evening. Same time, same place, new team. As the pre-match show anchored in this opening look from Dominic Liacani and Griffin Leonard, produced by Tristan Fleur, will have another go-around. Again, just cannot be overstated how special what we're witnessing is in the most rapidly growing sport. It continues to evolve, and a lot of it due to that man right there, Donan Cruz, who has allowed so much access to his team.
Back underway. Cardinals trying to close off the set. Kept alive and punched over. Incredible, but got to finish. Van Buren, another one, kept alive. Machado punches it over, but out of bounds.
For a second there, it looked like we were playing spike ball. We were getting body contact, quick 1-2 taps. Machado nearly with a miracle. But after rainbowing it over, good hustle won't lead to the outcome the Cards want. It ends up sailing wide right.
You a big spike ball guy?
I am.
Me too. Into the block and down for the Cardinals.
A great iteration of the fastest growing sport on the globe is spike ball. But it's hard to beat the real thing, especially in a match as marquee as this one that just continues to go tooth and nail. No one has been able to pull away.
Tied up at 20. Mick Phillips with the serving duties. Far side, hard swing, kept alive. A bump set, and David Ocheva gets it down.
How did he do that? And David Ocheva had the entire defense with 2 seconds to read what was happening. In volleyball terms, that's an eternity. Yet somehow he finds an opening, threads the needle, and hits a cross-court kill. You just can't teach that. It's volleyball IQ at its finest. Cards up 1.
Put in by McPhillips. Van Buren, he missed. Down the line, but out of bounds.
Excitement starting to kick in for the hometown Cardinals. But they've got to close out this set with some prowess and poise. The Ramblers out of timeouts. Ball State still has one in their back pocket should they need it. And you have to imagine if it were up to Donan Cruz and company, Will McPhillips would be the final server of this match.
And a substitution made for the Ramblers as well.
Out goes Dean Meyer. In for the first time comes Aiden Klein, a freshman middle blocker from Evanston, Illinois.
Going to Fabakovic, too high, another point for the Cardinals as they inch closer to winning their first conference match of the year.
The switch unable to stir the pot in favor of Loyola there.
An immediate challenge for Coach John Hawks looking for a tip in a situation like this. Also, when you have no timeouts, you use this challenge, and it basically counts as a timeout as your team is down by 3.
I couldn't have put that any better myself, partner. At least from my angle, it didn't look like there was a chance that Ball State tipped that one. But when you have 2 challenges in your pocket, if you're John Hawks, why not use one, successful or not? This is a much-needed reset for a Ramblers team that was playing witness to a great Will McPhillips run from beyond the service stripe.
Some frustration for Coach Cruz and the Cardinals, but now you got to hone it all in. You still got to play, trying to finish off set 4, walk out of here with a win. Time for some adversity. But shout out to David Ocheva. That's a response.
And a big one. Will McPhillips checked out of the game. In for him came Will Patterson, and he immediately makes an impact that won't show up after the fact, but that was big. Number 21 with the jump that faked out the front line. An unofficial assist helps Ndaviz Ocheva get his squad 1 step closer.
High serve from Savitsky Lind gives a freebie to the Ramblers and makes it a 1-point set. And in steps Miller Truby, a serving specialist, a redshirt freshman from Dallas, Texas. Trying to put some pressure on. Cardinals up 1. Overpass on the serve. Opportunity for the Ramblers. To the middle, and that's enough. Just a bit of a touch, but it does it.
Miller Truby the spark. The Loyola Chicago Ramblers now have the flame. It was a nice serve from the 6'11" redshirt freshman that evens this set up at 23 apiece. And now has Donan Cruz.
Set 4, Ball State leads 2-1. Loyola trying to hang on and force a set 5. Here we go. Miller Truby into the net, and now it's match point for the Cardinals.
Everyone on their feet. We talked about it in the open. It couldn't be more true than now. Energy bouncing off of the walls inside of the nest as the Cardinals look to chirp their way to 8-5 and 1-0 in MIVA play.
And Ndaviz Ocheva serves it over to Fabakovic, blocked back down and sent back towards the Cardinals. Tipped over and down. The Cardinals get their first conference win of the 2024 season.
How about them Cards? Lucas Machado lets out a victory roar, and it's well earned. The freshman with a veteran play to send it over on the second touch. So sneaky is the uber good Brazil native, who now helps the Cardinals to 8-5 on the season, 23-5 in conference since the dawn of